Hey guys, this is Will with LPT Realty, and I hope you're having a fantastic day today. I'm back in my favorite neighborhood here in Orange County. If you don't know that already, it's Lake Nona. Done a lot of videos on this area. You guys have responded really well to those, and I've been fortunate to work here a lot and really kind of be here while this place kind of grows and help people call this place home. I will say though, a lot has changed since that last video. I did that about 8 months ago, and if you remember, 8 months to a year ago is when we saw those interest rate hikes, and I was kind of seeing what things would do, what would happen, making predictions in the midst of all of that. And now that we're almost a year removed, I really want to retouch on that and see what's changed, because I think a lot of things have changed here that could really make or break if this is a place that you want to call home. So when I did this video a little bit over 8 months ago, we were coming fresh off really an aggressive market change. Those interest rates were hiked coming off of historically low rates in our really competitive COVID market. And that really had a quick effect on our market. We saw sales immediately drop for Q3 and 4 of last year and have those prices kind of bottom out. So that video came out right then with only a few months of data to kind of see what was going on. But I think now we have a more full picture. We can kind of see the future and beyond to even 2024 and see if this is going to be the place that you want to call home. So like I said, last year around Q3 and 4, we saw those prices bottom out. And really significantly here in Lake Nona, seeing about a 20% drop. And I think that's specifically because there is a lot of new construction here. New construction builders, I can tell here, are going to be a bit more responsive to price if the market slows down, to really kind of move those homes so they're not holding on to that inventory. And we definitely saw a lot of that, which I think caused a few issues, which I'll touch on later. But I think that's definitely why we saw the hit, is because we saw a really steep price decline here. But now things have really been going up. Since the beginning of 2023, prices have steadily gone up every month. Inventory's actually back down and sales are up. So this means that the market has responded to those rate hikes pretty positively, because people are still buying homes or buying it more than they did when it first happened. So it's really important that we're kind of seeing that growth still, even in this environment, because it shows that we've kind of rebounded from our point last year when we did this last video. When it comes to the market, I really like to rely heavily on stats to kind of communicate that to you guys so you can see really, is this the right investment you're making, what's going on with trending, pricing, because I really want to make sure people buy a good investment in a home that's going to grow in value. But one thing that I don't highlight on enough is going to be that experience. And I think that's what's really changed these past couple of months. With those rates being higher than they were a year ago and us exiting that COVID market, things are a lot better between buyer and seller. I would say that the days of a home being listed and selling in 5 seconds doesn't really happen like that anymore. This isn't to say if something isn't priced very well or aggressively that it won't sell fast, but I am noticing there's a lot more breathing room for buyers. And as someone who primarily works from buyers, from people like you that are watching this video that reach out to me, I think that's a great thing, just because that wasn't fun the past couple of years. And now we're kind of seeing that balance out. Things are about equal between buyer and seller, and you're still really getting good deals, whether that's new construction or even on the resale market. So I think that psychology and the experience of buying right now in Lake Nona has improved for the better, even though our market, took a hit because of these higher rates. Maybe it's because I'm a realtor, but when I hear the words Lake Nona, I immediately think growth. And that's what people that have moved here have thought too, obviously. If you look at this place 15 years ago versus where it is today, you're going to see the fastest growing zip code here in Orange County. And that has made a lot of people a lot of good returns on their investment. But people have been asking, is it still growing? And especially when those rates went up, there was a lot of concern whether it was going to continue to grow. What was kind of going on here? Did it grow too much? Were people going to get the return on their investment that they made? And I luckily think that this area is still going to grow. And I think that we've seen a lot of positive growth in the past few months. So a lot of people think of those interest rate hikes. They really only think about you or I buying a home and how that affects, your monthly payment and your rate. However, builders also borrow money too, and their rates get affected. A lot of other obstacles come into that, whether it's materials, whatever the case may be. Their prices may change and go up and cause their development to slow down. But luckily, we haven't really seen that. And I think those rates gave people a lot more breathing room with new construction here. If you recall, a couple of years ago, it's impossible to get one, waiting lists, things like that. But we've really kind of seen that cool down, and I saw people get a lot of really good incentives during that time period. And even now, with the much more supply that is available compared to how it was a couple of years ago. So I think that's really good. I think buyers, once again, are still getting a better opportunity to get into a home, even though the rates are higher. Now, outside of just the residential side of things in Laureate Park too, we also have the commercial side of things with the Lake Nona West Lifestyle Shopping Center coming, which is really the first of its kind for the area. And that shows that there's still commercial growth going too, which I think is very important because that adds jobs. And that adds just more of a lifestyle experience here. One of the complaints I had living in Lake Nona was if it wasn't in the one shopping center on Narcoossee, it was tough to find. So to get that as well is really cool. Kind of incentivize more people to kind of come here, and even though they might be a little bit further away than everything else Orlando has to offer. while I think that growth is always going to be a net positive, I do think realtors, myself included, need to do a better job of talking about how these growing pains really affect these areas. There's been a lot of growing pains here in Lake Nona, especially on the buy side, seeing people trying to call this place home. The process to get here and afterwards and what they experience, I think is something that's left out a lot. So I really want to touch on that right now. First and foremost, with a lot of these builders I mentioned, there was more supply, offered more incentive because those sales slowed down. And I think certain builders overpromised to buyers when they could have those homes completed. And I think that really kind of hurt some of my buyers' confidence in some of the builders here. And there's some of my clients did not have the best experience with these builders. I think it's really important to choose who builds your home here, even though that it might seem great to get that new construction money and that incentives, all of that. Really make sure that you're getting a good deal and you're going to make sure your home's built on time, because there's a lot of stress moving and planning and getting to a home when it's supposed to be completed. So if you want to know which builders to kind of look out for, reach out to me and we can talk personally about that. Beyond that, though, I think the traffic is a really big concern here. Even though we're getting that Nona West development that I mentioned earlier, the traffic burden here is heavy in Lake Nona, and certain times of the day you don't want to even be here. Living here myself, I really didn't like it. Even getting to the 417 exit was tough on Narcoossee. They're working on expanding it, but you're still seeing that so many people moved here so quickly that we're kind of seeing that Florida's infrastructure really isn't the best, and we don't have the roads necessarily to handle all of that, especially at peak times. That's something I would definitely watch out for. But beyond that, I think that we really have to kind of see what all this growth does to the community as a whole. We saw that we lost that $1 billion project by Disney. Well, I don't think that affected the market a ton. We're still losing some growth, but what if that went through? How would that affect, the people living here? Traffic gets a lot worse. Things that we don't really think about when we talk about all this positive of growth, there's some negative to it as well. So always keep that in mind. So to summarize most of my rambling, even though we saw those interest rates really hit us hard here last year around this time, Lake Nona's definitely rebounded. That's really good. It's really positive to see our market's not declining and people are still seeing their investments grow if they bought at the start of this year. Beyond that, we're still getting a lot of development and growth, whether that's commercial, our Lake Nona West campus coming, and then also our residential projects by David Weekley, Craft Homes, and Ashton Woods. We're still getting both of those here, so it's still growing. That's positive. It's good for people that own here and that want to live here, that we didn't kind of tap out on that growth. But in the same breath, we have experienced a lot of growing pains, namely being traffic, build times, for people that are looking to call this place home, and people that live here. That's one thing to really stay cognizant of. So if you're looking to call this place home or anywhere else, I'd love to help you, as I've helped a lot of people call Lake Nona home. I'm going to leave my contact information for you down below. I appreciate your time and hope you have an awesome day.